New this week, Doctor Who props, including the sonic screwdriver pen. If you bought the Play Arts Joker last week, you're going to want the Play Arts Batman to complete the set. Come and pick it up today. All new Gundam models now in stock, from high grade to master grade. New this week, Dragon Ball Z master grade figures. Deadpool vinyl banks have been restocked. New graphic novels and trade paperbacks this week include The Complete Peanuts, Mark Twain, Hawk and Dove, Cobra Snake Eyes, The Art of George Perez, Batman Year One Deluxe Edition, DC Showcase Young Love, Queen Crab, Crossed, Flashpoint Flashpoint Superman, Flashpoint Wonder Woman, Avengers vs. New Ultimates, Northlanders, DC Universe Online Legends, DC Universe by Alan Moore, Crime Does Not Pay, X-Men Season 1, The Avengers The Heroic Aid, The Avengers The Children's Crusade, Uncanny X-Men, Journey into Mystery, Ultimate Elektra by Greg Rucka, and many more. New in gaming this week, Munchkin, 8th Expansion, and Catacombs, Horde of Vermin. New this week, Gamemastery cards, Skull and Shackles, and Game of Thrones Chapter Pack. New Pathfinder books in stock, Distant Worlds, Pirates of the Inner Sea, and Jade Regent. Now in stock, new Pokemon trading card game tins.
Alright, so a comic book that everybody should be reading or checking out right now is the new Conan the Barbarian by Brian Wood, writer of DMZ, Northlanders, Demo, and a lot of other well-known titles. The artwork by Becky Cloonan in this book really fits the character, especially that we're dealing with a female antagonist, protagonist, and this story has been done before in comics. Queen of the Black Coast #2 came out today, Wednesday the 14th, and her art is very reminiscent of the early, in my opinion, Barry Windsor Smith kind of softer lines. Conan is more of a sleeker, not so muscular, more agile fighter. The book is very well written. It's a great translation of the material, source material. And I started reading Conan in the Savage Sword of Conan magazines when my uncle gave me a chest that had a bunch of them in it when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old. So some of the first literature I had read at all, believe it or not, was the Savage Sword of Conan magazines, very early issues of it, which now have all been, or a majority of them have been reprinted by Dark Horse, and they're continuing, I hope, to reprint the entirety of the series all the way through to the end, we hope. But this volume here collects number 1 through 10 of Savage Sword of Conan, as well as Savage Tales of Conan the Barbarian 1 through 5. So it's a great buy, $17.99. You really can't go wrong if you like Conan. The art, in my opinion, in this era, the guys who worked on this book, is superior to anything that's being done nowadays. So I would highly recommend that you check out the reprints of the original magazine and the new series from Dark Horse. Number 1 and 2 are in stock at Collector's Corner.
Alright, so my favorite book this week was Fantastic Four 604. I've been following this since Jonathan Hickman took over because I've read all of his Image stuff, which is really good. A lot of like good ideas, fantastic science fiction. I also like his art, but he's not doing this. He's not doing the art on this book. It's Steve Epting, which is also a fantastic artist. But really like what he's been doing in Fantastic Four. It kind of started with some of the ideas that Mark Millar did in his first 2 story arcs, and then him taking those ideas and kind of spreading it out a little bit more, also adding a little bit more of his oomph, his high science fiction, galactic, multiversal, space god wonderment. You've got Franklin from the future, you've got the Fantastic Four with the return of Johnny Storm. But this book made me cry twice in reading it because young Franklin stored up a bunch of cool power of his reality bending manipulation. And he gave it to future Franklin. And previously in the other issue, 603, Galactus fought some mad space god Celestials and fell to Earth. So older Franklin does this really badassness where he screams "Rise" a whole lot, and "To me, my Galactus," which those of you who really like Silver Surfer and Galactus in general, Galactus always shouts "To me, my Silver Surfer," or "To me, my Surfer," or "To me, my Heralds." So that, with that, as you turn the page, I feel is tear-inducing, especially if you're into just over-the-top, awesome Kirby crackling wonderment. Look at all that. Fantastic. Second time this book made me weep was as Reed's grandfather, or rather Reed's father, sorry, Franklin's grandfather, is talking to Reed about, you know, all these things and what he should and shouldn't have done, but there's all these like great sacrifices and how the only difference in this timeline is that Reed never sacrificed his family to better the multiverse. So we have kind of the winning, and it is a spoiler alert, but you know, this is so badass. You have Galactus, and in his tiny hands, they're not even tiny, sorry, in his hands is that, which again, those of you who know about Galactus's heralds, that is awesome. You have the tears of the family, you have the hugging of the future son and the father, and I don't know, there's something about the first family that really gets me choked up, especially with Hickman writing it. Yeah, talking about Franklin as a as a child, talking about how he's afraid, and Reed asking him to look at him and how, you know, it's okay to be afraid, but it's not okay to never try it. So, you know, he asks him if he's ready. He says, "I'm ready." Good. Now fly. And we end this story arc with that, with this father and son moment, and it really, I don't know, it brings the whole story to an end well. The first family, Fantastic Four. If you're not reading it, I feel like you should. Bottom line.